What's up, everyone? Nike is running pro-family ads. American Eagle is bringing back hotness thanks to Sweeney, and the social justice warriors are angry, but I personally am not. So we're going to talk about all of that today. Before we do, though, oh my God, wait, sorry, I just got so distracted over here. 1 minute. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, Max, you can run the show logo. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, we had some technical difficulties and I have a monitor, and so I can see and hear things, and my brain literally just kind of short-circuited. I'm so sorry we're late. I know that you guys were popping up in the comments, but as I said, we were updating some assets. Some of the stories that we're talking about today we're updating in the moment, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make the show live instead of having it be edited, because when we edit it, that means I usually have to record, a couple days beforehand or the day before, which means that the news changes because things move fast in the world. So that is why we are now doing it live. So I appreciate your patience, even though I was 5 minutes delayed. Now, per usual, my friends, I saw you guys asking about P Pants. Do not worry. There is a P Pants update. He is doing well. He is doing great. It is hot. It is so freaking hot in Tennessee right now, and it is so humid. We have like an extreme heat advisory going on right now. He seems to be doing well. Ironically, our belted Galloway cows, which are like the Scottish cows that have the belt, they look like Oreos and they're really fluffy. They're doing better in the heat than my mom's Jersey cows, and so they have been struggling, but we had a big run-in shed delivered into a little pasture where they are, because Alex and I didn't have cows in the pasture where P Pants and his new nurse mama are. So they've just kind of been out in the sun hiding under trees. We finally got a run-in shed, so it seems like everybody is doing well. We have a fan that's going to be installed for them. So things seem to be moving along very well. I will give you my pregnant farm story of the week, because in the moment, this was so embarrassing and horrifying, but I think you guys will find it funny. And then we'll get into all of these stories. We have a lot to cover, so I won't take too long on this, but I think you guys will enjoy it. Anyway, so basically, I've talked about this before on social media, but we have this electric fencing called Premier One fencing, and it's like netting, and you can get, taller fencing, shorter fencing. They have ones for goats and pigs and cows and all these things. We have so much of it. And it has been a never-ending battle. We have tried different, chargers. We've done the plug-in. We've done the solar. It's just always a headache. I don't think that electric fencing and Alex and I get along very well, and so it's just always been a struggle. But right now we have a bunch of electric fencing up for the pigs, and the reason being is because even though we have permanent fencing, we had to move all the animals around in order to bring P Pants up closer to the house so that we could nurse him and watch him and make sure that he's alive and growing. And so we had to kind of switch around where the pigs are, but still protect our sow, the mom pig, and the baby piglets, because we have piglets that are a month old right now. So all that being said, we have electric fencing up that we're doing makeshift pastures. And being almost, what week am I now? I'm basically 9 months pregnant now, but being 9 months pregnant, I was able to jump over a lot of this fencing because it's 3 feet. So I would just hop on over, whatever. Not anymore. I'm literally like a bowling ball. If I land on 1 foot, I'm going onto the ground. And so yesterday, now guys, this is how confused I am. I thought today was Monday again because we had to skip. Yesterday was my sick day. On Sunday, I went out to try to feed and water the pigs. Sundays are the days that we don't have any farmhand help, which our farmhands this spring and summer have just been a godsend with helping my mom move, with me being on tour, pregnant, all that stuff. But we don't have them on, Sundays. That's their church family days. And so I was out feeding and watering the pigs. And again, I'm used to being able to just hop over this 3-foot fence, not even have to turn off the electricity, be in there, turn on the water. Not anymore. Not anymore. So I was able to get over the fence because I had a log sitting outside. So I was able to step over the fence, jump inside, and I was filling up the water, being with the piglets, all of these things. But then everything went to hell, basically. And I was trying to fill up the water, but the hose kept dropping on the electric fence and it would conduct electricity. So I was holding the hose and just kept getting slightly shocked, which you don't want when you're pregnant. So I was trying to hold up the hose without stepping on the fence. And so now I'm doing contortions trying to fill up this huge trough of water. Secondly, the water on this hose, the pressure is so hard that you can't just put the hose in the trough because it will like levitate. Like the water pushes it all the way up. So you have to stand there. So I'm standing there doing all of this stuff. I finally get all the water filled up. I am good to go. I like throw it over the fence. So it's now in the grass. And I look around and I realize I can't get out. I'm completely trapped in this, I don't even know, like 20-foot circumference little electrified pig pen where the fence is only 3 feet tall. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, Brett, this is so embarrassing. Like I used to be able to just jump over this. And so I'm trying to like, I have boots on and I'm trying to like step on the fence and get over it, but I keep like shocking myself and this is just getting just terrible and so embarrassing. So I finally walk around to where the charging bank is, but I realize I can't, I'm so dumb. I can't reach it from inside. So I'm sitting there, I'm like using sticks trying to like turn off the electricity. And there's all of these clamps and things that, you know, the grounding rods, how you connect it, it's all of this stuff. I can't even like begin to describe it. So then I'm like, well, maybe I can disconnect it from that. So I reach over and I'm trying to like disconnect this little thing that's like connecting to the fence that conducts all the electricity. Guys, I get shocked so bad, I jump like 3 feet in the air. I immediately have so much guilt. I like burst into tears. I'm like, oh my God, I'm shocking my body. This is like so much worse than any of the other little shocks. I'm gonna hurt this baby. This is so awful. Literally, I'm like, I think me and the baby are like 3 feet in the air. And then immediately, as if on cue, it starts pouring rain. So I'm standing out there, stuck, like in this tiny little pen. Alex is not at home. It's pouring, it's pouring, it's pouring. I call my mom and she immediately launches into some like, I'm doing this right now, whatever. And I'm just sitting on the phone like, like whimpering in the rain, waiting for like a break in her rant so that I can like say I need help. And she's like, wait, why did you call? And I'm like, I'm stuck in an electrified pig pen. It is pouring rain. I can't get out. Oh my God, I'm literally like laughing, crying right now. It was so horrifying because I just kept trying to jump and I couldn't do it. And so she finally comes over, she gets in her car, she gets there in like 5-10 minutes. I'm like hunched under this little tree surrounded by pigs and she is able obviously to go like turn off the fence and we open it up and I can get out. Anyway, so that was how I spent my Sunday afternoon. I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna try to do acrobatics that I used to be able to do because it's really not going well, even though it's just like a 3-foot fence and I used to be able to jump over it. So I will turn off the fence. I have learned, things are getting better, but I'm very grateful that my mom now is in the area so that she could just come over and rescue me because I literally would have, you know, Alex was 30 minutes away, was gonna have to come back and get me. Anyway, so that was how I spent my Sunday. I don't know if that's why I got sick because I woke up yesterday morning with like an awful sore throat and flu symptoms. Thankfully, I feel better now, so thank you for all of your well wishes. So maybe it was because I was sitting out in the rain after being shocked. I have no idea. But anyway, that is your farm update for the day. But now we can get into the real updates on the news and society and culture and all the things that you guys are probably really here for. But before we dive into that, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and of course, ring that notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on all of our uploads. And if you want to stay up to date on things outside of the show, maybe new live events or products or things that we're going to be launching in the near future, make sure that you check out brettcooper.com. That is like our hub for everything. So if you are looking for information, that is usually where you can find it. All right, back into the stories now. Here we go. I need to see. You guys were sending in some super chats. Somebody said this ad makes me want to buy some shirts. Somebody else just said Cooper Trooper for life. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Okay, so before we get into the news stories, though, I do have an update on last Thursday's episode where we were talking about that new app, the T, where women can go and like upload photos of men without their consent and rank them and gossip about them and lie about them and exaggerate and basically like paint them out to be awful without men knowing. The app, the T, as you guys know, it like went to #1 on the App Store. It got hacked. Like it was so perfect. It got hacked. All of the data of those thousands and thousands and thousands of women was leaked. All of their like, in order to get on the app, you have to put in your driver's license and then you have to like upload a selfie. All of their selfies were released. You can like see where they are in the world. And it was just like the most internet thing ever because within 4 hours, somebody had created an entire website based on the T where you can rank all of the women that are on the app. It was like perfect karma. I mean, perfect, because they were uploading photos of men without their consent. They were ranking them, warning other women about these men. And so now this website was up and it's like, well, actually, we're just going to do the same to you. And it started this whole oh gosh, what is it called? Like a bracket, basically, of you would get upvotes and downvotes. And so at the end, you were able to see who had the most downvotes, who had the most upvotes. It's hysterical. Again, karma, so sorry. That is just what happens. It kind of reminds me of what Facebook was before it was actually Facebook. Do you guys remember that when Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, it was literally just a way that you could rank people online from Harvard, people in his class? That's kind of what this website feels like, except it's all of these women and they're very unflattering selfies that they never thought the world would see because they were just doing it to verify their identity to get on an app. And it's pretty hysterical. So I enjoyed seeing that. And if you guys want to go find it, it is literally everywhere on X right now, and it will give you a good laugh. And these women on this app, I know that they are very angry. I have seen some tweets about this. They cannot believe that they have been posted without their consent. Again, karma, very funny. But I think that they are about to be as silent as my silencer from Silencer Shop. All right, guys, let's talk about gun upgrades. So shooting is great, but what about shooting suppressed? That is obviously better. If you are a responsible gun owner, you want to be in control of your accuracy, your recoil, your hearing, all of it. And that is where Silencer Shop comes in. They make it ridiculously easy to get a suppressor, the one upgrade that instantly makes your guns perform better. Because shooting suppressed is not just quieter, it means better accuracy, less recoil, and a lot more fun. I think it's just so much more fun to shoot suppressed. And yes, before you ask, suppressors are 100% legal in most states, and Silencer Shop has simplified the entire process. You just pick your suppressor, make your account, sign a couple of forms, and they handle all of the heavy lifting. You can get your suppressor in just a few days. And one of my favorite things about this company is that Silencer Shop is not just behind the counter. They are out there defending your Second Amendment rights every single day. So if you are ready to make your shooting experience smarter, safer, and seriously more fun, head to silencershop.com/Cooper to get started. Again, that is silencershop.com/Cooper, because shooting suppressed makes you better. Alrighty, we can now move on. Let's see. Somebody said it wasn't even a hack. The app's database was just public with no encryption whatsoever. That's even better. That people were just signing up for something that was not secure in the slightest. Let's see. The Sleeper Has Awakened said, "Hey, Brett, I love your farm content. It's super wholesome. It's early hours in the morning where I am. As for Sydney Sweeney, I'm going to buy a pair of American Eagle jeans for Sydney. Hotness is so back." And that comment got 24 likes. Well, this is a perfect transition into this next story, because while women might be silent about the tea, they are certainly not silent about Sydney Sweeney. They are making their feelings very much known in a very, very annoying way. Now, this new American Eagle ad, I'm sure that you guys have seen it. You guys were commenting earlier as you were getting ready for the stream, and you're like, I know Brett is lurking, and you guys were having a whole debate about the ad. We're going to talk about that debate in a moment, because I think you guys brought up some good points. But this ad, it's her pulling on some jeans, and she is making jokes about having great genes, G-E-N-S, because obviously she's hot and people talk about her attractiveness all the time. She's somebody who very openly leans into that, but also she is wearing jeans. So it's kind of clever and it's funny. And I watched it and was like, that's cool. That's nice. Sydney Sweeney is always doing more sexual ads. She did the Dr. Squatch ad with the bathwater. None of this surprises me anymore. I actually think that it is a positive thing that she's just leaning into it and kind of owning it. She knows what works. But other people do not feel this way. The social justice warriors on social media think that this ad, this American Eagle ad where she's pulling on jeans, is a conspiracy to push eugenics and white Christian nationalist ideas. Literally, they are outraged at the idea that a company would have a beautiful blonde with blue eyes model their jeans and talk about genetics. Just look at some of these tweets. It is literally insane. This was from a couple of days ago. This guy said, "Did they mean to include a bunch of Nazi dog whistles in this?" Literally saying that this is Nazi. Here we go. Here's another one. "Oh, ha ha ha, jeans. I get it. She has good genes. She has good genes. Ha ha ha. In a Nazi way. Totally." I'm sorry. What world do you live in where you watch a video of Sydney Sweeney making jokes and doing her normal Sydney Sweeney sexual innuendo stuff and think, oh my gosh, Nazis? what are you sitting around thinking about that on a daily basis? The answer is yes. They sit around, they scroll online, and they look for problems in things that are objectively not very problematic, that are just very normal, that people watch and go, huh, that's funny, or huh, she's hot, whatever, scroll on. Meanwhile, these people are sitting on their phones like, I need to find a way to be a victim. My life is too easy right now. I need to create a problem so that I can feel important, so that I can tell the world that everybody else is against me, that we are fighting against some white nationalist agenda that is the only reason why they are posting these types of things. And you might think, like, okay, Brett, well, that was just a few posts. Like, those are, two quote tweets. What are you talking about? That was not the overarching response here. Okay, well, no, because it spread to TikTok. Take a look at a couple of these videos.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. I thought it was gonna be like kind of bad. That's gonna be in history book.
I will be the friend that's too woke, because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
And guys, those are just two. Brad Palumbo posted this compilation. He did a whole thread about this. And I think that compilation went on for 3 minutes. And it did not even include all of the other videos that I saw both on X and on TikTok. Like, all different types of women, all different ages, all saying the exact same thing, almost as if they had got their talking points from just like 2 tweets. And they're like, oh yes, obviously, this person who tweeted this makes complete sense. I'm just gonna run with this. All saying the exact same thing that this ad of Sydney Sweeney making a joke, being hot, which is what she does, is actually Nazi propaganda. Like, again, you just can't make this stuff up. It's like, you need to find something better to do with your life, because if you're going to sit around and just make videos about how the world is against you and how every single thing, some things that are just completely normal and fine, are these major problematic, awful things, like, you need to go touch grass. Like, seriously, that is my response to you. But again, like, I was looking at all of those, tweets and TikToks, and a lot of things, like, once you start interacting with something on, X or on TikTok, the algorithm feeds you more. So I was getting more and more of these videos. And so again, I kind of had to take a step back, and I was like, okay, well, I'm obviously going to talk about this on the show, but it's probably still like a little bit fringe, right? Like, these people are crazy. These people are crazy. This can't be like a serious opinion. But no, because then this idea made its way to the LinkedIn posters, the advertising employees that are posting all of their thoughts about all of these ad campaigns. It made its way there. Take a look at this one. This is from a woman named Kathy. And she said, tell me a group of white men came up with this campaign without telling me. American Eagle Outfitters is putting up billboards of a blonde, blue-haired actress with the phrase, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. And they think this is a clever way to sell jeans. Let's not pretend this is harmless wordplay. This isn't cute. It's not cheeky. It is a tone-deaf nod to eugenics-era language that has no place in 2025. Guys, jokes have no place in 2025. It is a dog whistle wrapped up in denim. When you choose that phrase paired with that model, you are not selling denim. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, it's really, like, it's not that serious, Kathy. Really, it's not. It actually is harmless wordplay. I don't think that they were all sitting around in a conference room going, let's bring back eugenics. Yes, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna subvertly put these messages. No, I'm sure that it was a bunch of people, men and women, going, who is like the actress of the moment? Who is somebody who is hot, who is cool, that we could put in this ad? Oh, obviously, Sydney Sweeney. That makes sense. Oh, everybody says she's hot. Jeans. That's funny. Let's have her say that. That was that. I guarantee that was the extent of the conversation. That is all they were doing. But you know what, Kathy? You are right, because American Eagle is not just selling denim. Like, good advertisements are not just selling a product. They are selling a feeling. They're trying to sell a brand identity, some kind of brand appeal, which is why they hired a hot chick to do this. They're trying to kind of do what, in my opinion, like Abercrombie has done really well, where Abercrombie and American Eagle were both brands that for many years felt like they had been left into the 2010s. They're trying to, make a comeback. They're trying to make a big splash. How are they going to do that? They're going to pay Sydney Sweeney a ton of money to be hot on screen, to try to rebrand themselves. This really is not about jeans. It is about what people will feel or evoke when they put on those jeans or represent American Eagle out in the world. So no, it's not just about denim, but also it's not about eugenics. It's not a dog whistle wrapped in denim pushing white nationalist ideas. Like seriously, again, get your head out of the sand, go touch grass, kick a couple rocks, could be great for you. Maybe go pet a cow. That's what I do when I need to calm down. I recommend doing that. I have another one here. This was my personal favorite of the of the LinkedIn posts. By the way, guys, if you're not on LinkedIn, it is a hysterical social media site. Like, I watch Alex. I was not really on LinkedIn ever, and I'm still not, but he finds more entertainment with these types of people on LinkedIn than he does on X or on Instagram. Like, that is where he goes for his entertainment because posts like this are so ridiculous. All right, we can go into the next one here. This is from a woman named Bridget. And she starts off this post by saying, fascists are unfunny and uncreative. Those are the people who put together this ad. They're all fascists. And then she talks about the ad, and then she moves on, and later on in her very long post, she, of course, blames this ad on Trump. Here we go. We can move on to the next one. With everything going on with this administration, everything going on with this administration is making room for this in mainstream advertising and ultimately pop culture. Eugenics, racism, ableism. We're adding a new ism into this ad now. We're seeing this, normalized at speed. It is propaganda. It is a dog whistle. Everything is a dog whistle. How did she get ableism? Because Sydney Sweeney is on the floor and is pulling on jeans, like she is physically able to do that? Is it ableism because for once it's not a disabled person in an advertisement? Like, I'm sorry, there are non-disabled people in the world who also might like to be represented. Like, that's not ableism. That's just normal. I'm sorry. Like, I genuinely do not understand how she got to ableism. But you know what? Hey, Bridget, sure, let's blame Trump. Let's try that. Let's try your idea that we're going to blame Trump. Let's blame Trump for eradicating advertising and marketing that was solely focused on featuring overweight models and grotesque, unattractive messaging in favor of conventionally hot chicks in cute jeans. Sure, let's blame him. Oh, I'm so angry. So angry. Sorry, Bridget. I'm actually kind of happy about it. Now, back to the point. My reason for bringing all of this stuff up and taking you guys through all of this is that this idea and this discourse hitting LinkedIn makes it a lot less fringe. Like, we've left X, we've moved on from TikTok, it's hit LinkedIn. I thought, okay, that's it. It has hit the mainstream. But then something happened this morning that was even better. This whole idea, this conversation, landed on Good Morning America as a totally serious and valid segment. Take a watch.
The play on words is being compared to Nazi propaganda with racial undertones.
The pun, good genes, activates troubling historical associations for this country. The American eugenics movement in its prime between like 1900 and 1940 weaponized the idea of good genes just to justify white supremacism.
Guys, that is a college professor. They brought a college professor onto Good Morning America to talk about why this is a dog whistle for eugenics. And there are so many things that I want to say about this. First of all, before I forget this point, like, the left historically has not really cared about eugenics. Like, the right will bring up eugenics in terms of abortion and the fact that Planned Parenthood was started by a woman who was a proponent of eugenics. They don't care about that. They don't care about eugenics as a whole, as an idea. They only care about it when it actually, I was about to say fits into their agenda, but this doesn't even fit into this agenda. Like, this is not an example of eugenics. It is a joke. So stop saying that you suddenly care about eugenics when we have the most glaring example of this that is still so pervasive and prevalent in our society that we as taxpayers have been funding for years, this practice of abortion, Planned Parenthood. Don't say that you suddenly care about this when you have turned a blind eye, not even just turned a blind eye, but when you have pointed at us, attacked us, and said, actually, no, that is good. Everything that is happening is good. It is empowering. I'm sorry. I can't take you seriously. I don't take the dog whistling seriously. I don't take the eugenics stuff seriously. Like, have some consistency, because this is just utterly ridiculous. What this is a lot of jealous women. Like, seriously, like, having marketing and advertising be unattractive for years. And, the body positivity movement, all of that stuff, it made them feel good about themselves because they didn't have anything to aspire to. It's like, hey, everybody looks like me, and it's not really that great. Now, Sydney Sweeney, being conventionally attractive, makes them feel less than, probably, because it's 2025. They then have to turn this into something that is a big societal problem that is happening to them. And of course, it's rooted in racism and ableism and eugenics and all of the things, when really it's just a bunch of women who feel unattractive next to Sydney Sweeney, which, hey, that is a fine emotional response. There are sometimes that I will see an advertisement and somebody is super skinny and super fit, and I'll look at them and be like, I would love to look like that. Like, it's when you watch the old Victoria's Secret fashion shows, like the Angels, and you see them and you're like, oh my gosh, they are stunning. But it used to be that we would look at them and go, that's something to aspire to. That's awesome. Yeah, she's beautiful. I can appreciate that. I'm going to go work out. I would love it if my arms looked like that, if my shoulders did. So I'm going to go to a Pilates class, and I'm going to aspire to that because she's so beautiful. And like, Sydney Sweeney is conventionally attractive, and I think we should be able to look at her and go, oh yeah, she's beautiful. She looks great in those jeans. I wonder if I would look good in those. Maybe I should go buy them. But now, because of the body positivity movement, because we have now turned our entire society and culture onto its head, where everybody needs to make you feel good about yourself, that just can't be a thing anymore. And so we're seeing the reaction to that being undone. Like, I'm sorry, but the tides are changing, and people are no longer willing to go along with this idea that man-hating, angry women with septum piercings who are overweight and have armpit hair are peak attractiveness. Like, if you think that's attractive, that's fine. A lot of people don't. And you're going to see them in advertisements, and I'm sorry, that's not white nationalism, that's not eugenics, that's not ableism or racism or whatever it is. It is just conventional attractiveness. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about that I saw you guys debating in the comments was this idea about the ad being too sexual, and the fact that there is basically like porn and everything. And this obviously was littered with a lot of, sexual innuendo. She's lying on the floor. She's talking about her body, all of that stuff. That is certainly true. And I am, somebody who does think that there is too much sex in our society, especially in Hollywood and TV shows. Like, I feel like everybody is just naked all the time. This didn't really cross the line for me, and I'll tell you why. And that's because this ad, even though it was clever and funny, is basically an exact replica of a Calvin Klein ad that was done with Brooke Shields in 1980. Like, literally the exact same thing. She's rolling around on the ground. She's like more naked than Sydney Sweeney was. Like, she's in her underwear, fully pulling on the jeans from the get-go. Like, she is not even wearing the jeans at the start of the ad. Rolling around on the floor, taking her hair out. She's saying the same things about genetics. It honestly is more about genetics than the Sydney Sweeney thing is. It was like a much longer ad, pulling down her hair, leaning, doing all of these things in her like normal Brooke Shields way. Like, that was the ad, and it was in 1980. Now, obviously, we can be consistent and say, okay, well, that wasn't good either, but this is not some, like, new hypersexualized 2025 society thing. This is, like, been done in advertising, sex sells. And looking at this ad, like, Sydney Sweeney was obviously making a joke about her attractiveness. She was leaning into it. There was, like, a sexual element to it, but she was clothed, thankfully. Like, I have a greater problem with people who are, like, fully naked online. I have a bigger problem with the fact that Meta pushes sexual content, nude content on people with child accounts, onto children. I have a bigger problem with Elon Musk's weird AI sex bot things that he's doing with Grok. Like, those cross lines to me. I have a problem with basically every single TV show that I turn on having dits out and sex scenes. Like, that is a line that crosses for me. But this, I think it's just because we've seen this in advertising for so long, and she had clothes on. And maybe that's a problem in our society, and it's like the bars on the floor, Brett, and you're fine to call me out for that. That's okay. But in the grand scheme of our society, and what I am most concerned about in terms of us becoming too over-sexualized and young people seeing that, this didn't send me over the edge. There are many other things that bother me a lot more. So that's kind of my opinion there. I think Sydney Sweeney is great. I appreciate the fact that she does ads like this. She does things like this, and she doesn't comment on it. Like, she doesn't fold to the woke mob or do anything like that. She isn't apologizing for anything. I remember there was that whole scandal a couple of years ago where she threw a 60th birthday party for her mom, and they had like MAGA hats that were like, make 60 great again. And everybody was, attacking her and saying that she was some Trump supporter. She needed to apologize. She posted and was like, guys, like, give it up. It was my mom's 60th birthday. birthday like there's nothing wrong with that, and basically just made a joke about it. Didn't apologize, didn't do anything. I think that she is somebody who stays above the fray. She does what she wants to do. She promotes what she wants to promote. She does not apologize for her body or being attractive. She doesn't apologize for making MAGA-inspired hats, and I think that that is the best way to be. I think that she is probably a much happier person than a lot of the people commenting on her and making videos about her, so props to her. I think it was a great shoot. I hope she rewarded herself with a great Good Ranchers steak after that shoot, because that is how you stay in shape, Good Ranchers. Now, guys, by the time this episode ends, another family farm in America will have shut down because the meat in our grocery stores is not coming from them anymore. In fact, 85% of the meat in our grocery stores is coming from overseas, where safety standards are different, quality is questionable, and truth in labeling is optional. And that is why I am proud to buy all of my meat from GoodRanchers.com. Good Ranchers doesn't just sell meat, they guide us all back to the source, to small, family-run American ranches, to real quality, to food that you can trust. Unlike imported meat, all Good Ranchers products are 100% born, raised, and harvested in the USA from local, small family farms. And if you subscribe to any Good Ranchers box today, you will get your pick of free meat for life. That is free Wagyu burgers, hot dogs, or chicken wings in every box for the lifetime of your subscription. And if you use my exclusive code Brett at checkout, you will get an extra $40 off. So visit GoodRanchers.com, use code Brett to shop, subscribe, and stand with American ranchers. And guys, a healthy diet is not the only thing that will help you detox your body, which is why you should check out my friends over at The Wellness Company. I want to ask you a question. Does your immune system ever feel compromised since you had COVID a couple of years ago or a couple of months ago? Well, a new study published in the Journal of Clinical Laboratory Analysis suggests that you might not be in the clear even if you feel fine, even if you have never tested, positive for COVID since then. Researchers analyzed blood from people who had recovered from COVID and found something concerning. Their platelets, which are essential for healthy blood clotting, were not functioning properly even months after recovery. And that is why Dr. Peter McCullough developed the Ultimate Spike Detox. This is a doctor-formulated blend that includes nattokinase to help break down spike protein, bromelain to support immune health, and turmeric with black pepper to reduce inflammation and repair cells. That was a mouthful. So take back control of your health today and head to twc.health/Cooper and use code Cooper to get 15% off your order plus free shipping. They have so many amazing products, so many things that will help you be healthy, live longer. Again, that is twc.health/Cooper. Use code Cooper to get 15% off. It is time to own your health, just like Sydney Sweeney owns her attractiveness even when the world wants her to apologize for it, which is really what we're seeing. I'm going to see what you guys said here. The left is so mad that one celebrity does not conform. Exactly. And it's so, Jack Mack, my friend from Barstool Sports, which by the way, if you guys are not watching his nightly show, Unpack with Jack Mack, you should be. It is so funny. He's hysterical. He made a great point on X because there was somebody who was talking about the hypersexualized nature of society and like alluding to the fact that she was like selling her body. And he made a great point and he was like, okay, this person is on the left. And according to the left, like sex workers, totally fine. Like that's empowering. That's great. You want, everybody free of the nipple, all of those things. But when a woman leans into that, intentionally, fully clothed, again, not asexual, some of those other things, then it's so horrifying. So is it actually about the sex, or is it about the fact that she's attractive and doesn't apologize? Or is it about the fact that you have all tried to cancel her time and time again, and she can't be canceled because she doesn't apologize? She just doesn't even acknowledge you, and so you're just going to keep finding problems. Anyway, it's a interesting conversation for sure, and I appreciated the fact that he brought that up. Caleb PNW Vibe said live ad transitions incredible. Guys, that like literally is the part of the live show that I get more stressed about because I go on these tangents. Like my mom always says, you can talk to a tree. I'm not even looking at my computer. Like I sort of like have ideas written down of things that I might want to use to transition, but I blabber on, I'm moving around, and then I'm like, oh wait, I think I'm supposed to go to an ad now. So that is the part that I'm getting the most used to. James Crawford. Oh, James, it's so good to see you. It's so good to hear from you. My mom loves the farm pics you put up. Thank you. Tell her hi. It's great to hear from you, James. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Catherine Dunn. Yes, hello to your 9-year-old daughter. Let's see. Brett Cooper's great jeans. Thank you so much. But also, Maddie, don't you know that's a racist dog whistle? So you should be ashamed that you sent that super chat. Okay. Anyway, now I want to go into this next segment because it's just too perfect, guys. Because there is another advertisement that has sparked a huge conversation on social media, more in a positive way, thankfully. And that would be, and I love this, the Scottie Scheffler Nike ad. So Scottie, if you don't know, he is a golfer, he's a father, he's a Christian, he's very open about his faith and his values and where his priorities lie. And Nike, to their credit, did an ad based on this featuring him and his son. And it says, "You've already won." And that's him and his little baby. And it was posted with the caption, "Priorities unchanged, another major secured. The wins keep coming on and off the course for Scottie Scheffler." And I just love this. And a lot of people brought up the fact that, literally last year, Nike was doing ads with extremely overweight models being like, "This is health. And everybody was like, no, actually, objectively, biologically, that's not. So the pendulum is moving for a lot of these brands. Things are moving in the right direction. So anyway, people were excited about that. But this ad specifically was inspired by something that Scottie said at the British Open. And we're going to talk about the response to this comment. But first of all, just take a listen to this. It's really beautiful.
That's why I talk about families being my priority, because it really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be all end all. This is not the most important thing in my life. And that's why I wrestle with, why is this so important to me? Because, I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer.
So I love this. Literally all he's saying in this clip, this is just like a small, I think 20-second clip from a 3-minute video. But in this press conference, he was being asked about his family, the fact that he just won this huge major. What does the future look like for him? Is he going to commit to other things? And he was basically saying you know what? At the end of the day, what makes me happy is making my wife happy. And what makes me happy is being with our son and prioritizing my faith and my family. And if golf ever, detracts from that and removes my focus from them and God, then, I'm going to have to change my priorities. That's basically all he was saying. And this got a massively, positive response. He's a very unproblematic figure. People love Scottie. The response was a lot more positive than the response to Sydney's ad, I'll tell you that. But there was one person online who seems very torn up by the fact that Scottie very openly acknowledged where his priorities lie, and that would be sports commentator Skip Bayless. Now, for the women out there who might not know who he is, because I did not know who he was before I married Alex, he is a older, kind of cult classic, I would say, sports commentator. I look at him and I think he's kind of camp. He's very weird and funny. He has these 2 tiny white crusty dogs. He wears these insane sneakers and posts very odd things on social media. He had he has beef with Stephen A. Smith, I think. Anyway, Alex thinks he's hysterical and sends me his clips all the time, basically as if they're memes. But he has a podcast, he has a show, and this clip of his reaction to Scottie Scheffler's Nike ad and that clip that we just watched is going viral for all of the wrong reasons, the completely wrong reasons. Basically, Skip Bayless is arguing that Scottie's priorities actually are not in the right place. Take a listen. So in this first one, he starts out by kind of laying the foundation, laying the groundwork, giving us context for why he feels this way. And that is because Skip Bayless told his wife that she will always come second to his career. So that is where he's coming from. Take a listen to this.
She is everything to me. She's my rock. She's my constant companion. She's my best friend. But then again, on our first date way back in 2005, I told her if this relationship goes anywhere, and I knew from the start it would, that she would always be number 2 to my career. I told her that. I declared myself.
The clip is hilarious. The entire 4-minute clip is great and you should go watch it. But basically he's basing all of this on his Christian faith. And he's saying, God gave me these talents as a TV host. And therefore that is what I'm going to prioritize. And I told my wife, from the beginning, this is the reason why my first marriage failed. So you have to know you will always play second fiddle to this career because God is telling me that I need to focus on being the best sports commentator in the world because this is my calling. So again, that is the context there. That is the biases. So from there, he goes into this clip of Scottie, wanting to focus on his family, referring to the Nike ad, and just take a watch because he wants Scottie basically to have the same opinion about priorities that he does. Take a watch.
I have no idea if Tiger or Jordan or Tom Brady have a spiritual side, because I've never heard them talk about God, not that I can remember. All three were just obsessed with winning. They couldn't wait to win again and again and again until their bodies finally just gave out, because each of these three believed they were born to dominate. Nothing made them happier than dominating. So it was that I was jolted and jarred by what Scottie Scheffler said on the eve of the British Open. No, Scottie, no. God gave you spectacular ability to play the world's hardest game, gave you the strongest competitive drive since Tiger, gave you what Jack Nicklaus had, what Ben Hogan had, and you can't just shrug it off at age 29 and focus on, as you said, being a better father than a golfer.
Okay, I'm sorry, Skip, but Scottie Scheffler can absolutely shrug it off in your words. Like, if he wants to do that, that is totally fine. He is 29 years old. You're saying this as if he like has to give golf his all for the rest of his life, but at 29 years old, Scottie Scheffler has already made it. He is literally the #1 male golfer in the world. Like, him saying, I want to prioritize my wife and family, that is not him, winning one game and going, okay, I'm done. But even still, that's his life. Those are great priorities to have. It's totally fine. But making it this whole thing like he has so much, he has to keep fighting, he has to keep doing more. He's kind of done it all. And he's comparing Scottie Scheffler to people like Tom Brady, saying, Tom Brady also knew that he had a gift from God, and he hustled and he leaned in and he sacrificed everything. Yeah, he sacrificed his marriage and his relationship with his children because he didn't want to retire, because he kept going back. And yes, Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's amazing. He's an incredible player. He had an incredible career, but he sacrificed a lot for that. And some people just aren't willing to do so. Obviously, that was Tom Brady's choice. I don't know him. I don't know if he has regrets over that. I feel like once your career is over and you're kind of looking around and going, okay, I've made all of this money, but my ex-wife is now having a baby with her jiu-jitsu teacher who's much younger than her, and they're like gallivanting on the beach, and my, kids now live between two homes. Like, I feel like there has to be a part of him that's looking at that and going like, was it all worth it? And I think that that's a really important conversation to have, and that seems to be something that Scottie Scheffler at 29 years old with, massive success, that he's already figured out. Like, I actually think he's probably looked at people like Tiger Woods and Tom Brady and gone, you know what? That's amazing. They are incredible. They were at the top of their game, but, look at what they gave up. And that's just not something that I'm willing to do. And I think that that's admirable. I think that we should celebrate people for having that kind of self-awareness about their values and about what they're prioritizing. Like, that is objectively a good thing. And I'm glad that Skip Bayless's marriage, his second marriage, has worked out as he dedicates, his life to his God-given talent as a TV host, but that might not be the case for everyone. And some spouses might not want to play second fiddle for 40 plus years to a career. And some spouses might not want to prioritize a career, and that is okay. Those are actually very good, normal Christian things. And it's so funny because I was watching this clip, and I hate to say it, but it reminded me so much of things that people told me when Alex and I decided to get married. I mean, this is coming from like conservative people, like in this movement, like mentors and that kind of thing, who were wondering, literally had full conversations with me, being like, are you sure like this is the right move, like right now? Like you're, 21, 22, comment section has taken off. Like, you're really at the beginning of your career. You have so much you could do, and you're going to settle down. Like, is right now like the best time? Like, I don't really know. And I was looking at these people, and I was like, you're a conservative. Like, we're supposed to be pro-family and, pro-marriage and all of these good, virtuous things that make everything in life better. The foundation upon which all of our lives and careers and everything good in our life, like, grows from. And you're telling me maybe it's not the best time because you're really good at this thing, so you should just focus on all of that, focus on your audience, on the fans, building all of that, and a husband's going to distract from that. A family might distract from that. And that was so disheartening to hear. And I imagine that people have, told Scottie that, not just publicly, but in private, being like, really, this is what you're going to say? Like, you could go win more majors, go back to Augusta, win again, all of these things. And you know what? He still can. He doesn't have to choose. He can be a dedicated father, a dedicated husband, and still love the game of golf and still play really, really well and have a great career and not have to sacrifice all of that. Like, you can be the GOAT. You can be a great player and also know your limits and draw a line in the sand. And I doubt that he'll regret it because he's prioritizing the thing that matters most in his world, which is God and his child and his wife. Like, again, objectively good things. And to some people, you know, that matters more than career and success. And I think back to those conversations that, you know, people had with me, whatever that is, you know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I just laugh because I look around at my life and my career now since getting married, and it is so much better. It's so much more fun. I love what I'm doing. I love the show. I love you guys. I love everything that we're building behind the scenes that hopefully I get to share soon. And so much of that is because of Alex, because I have this security and this stability in somebody who is so creative and thoughtful and pushes me when I don't believe in myself, who, you know, drove me to do everything last year, to start this new channel, to go out on my own, who was there to like hold my hand the entire time and be like, hey, I'll catch you if you fall. Like, you don't have to do any of this. If you want to take a break, if you want to stop, like, I'll take care of us. Like, it's totally fine. Like, that kind of security, having a partner in that way, that's worth more than all of this. Like, seriously, like, this could all go away. As much as I love doing the show, as much as I love interacting with you guys, this could all go away and I would have an incredible life still because I'm married to an amazing person and I'm having a baby with this amazing person. And I pour into that relationship every single day. And that's what I prioritize and value more than anything. And it makes every other part of my life better. And it's so unfortunate that people like Skip Bayless aren't seeing that, or that's just not what, I guess, not the orientation that he has with his life. And I'm not even saying that in a judgmental way, but just more of like an empathetic way of like, it's just kind of sad. So I hope something changes in his life, or maybe he'll think differently about it. I don't know. He's like 70 years old, so he's kind of on a one-track mind, I think. But anyway, yeah, some things, you know, Skip Bayless, to a lot of people, there are things that matter more than success and money. And speaking of that, we can go into our next story because apparently not being offensive matters more to money than the singer Tyler Childers. Childers? I think that's what it is. I literally had to check his pronunciation before I came on the show because I was like, Childers? No, I think it's Childers. So if you don't know Tyler Childers, he is an amazing country singer. He is so great. He is so soulful. And he has the song called Feathered Indians. And it is probably his most famous song. I think that is what really blew him up a few years ago. Again, incredible writer, incredible singer. Kind of reminds me of Zach Bryan, although I think he might be a better human being than Zach Bryan. He like seems to have a stable life and a stable family. His music is less like heart-wrenching, like I'm a troubled soul, but kind of leans into that. Anyway, they're kind of in the same genre. But anyway, like I said, Tyler Childers, his most famous song is Feathered Indians, but he just did an interview with GQ, and he said that actually he's no longer playing that song anymore because of the word Indian, because he does not want to be offensive. So let me read this to you. This is from this GQ interview. So he said he has not played one of his most streamed songs live since March of 2020. I'm going to move on down a little bit lower, Max, here. The real reason was more complicated and more revealing. He said when COVID hit and Childers released Long Violent History, which is the album, he did a lot of reflecting on harm and intent. One scholar who posts to Instagram as Not Your Mama's History reached out to him. And this is in 2020. Of course, it happened in 2020. And he started reading her posts, thinking about what makes something problematic, particularly when filtered through a lens of white supremacy. We're back on white supremacy today, guys. And he thought about the word Indian and whether or not he wanted to keep using a term that indigenous groups themselves often reject in debate. Quote, if there is a conversation amongst those individuals about whether they should be using that word or not, then it ain't for me to be using. It's not mine. He takes a long, deep pause as his eyes well up. He doesn't apologize for his emotion, only waits until he's gathered himself enough to speak. The tears fall anyway. It's all very dramatic. And he starts telling a story about a time a few years ago when he took a hide tanning class out in Montana and met an indigenous man named Sean who lived on the Blackfeet Reservation. He wondered what Sean would think of Feathered Indians, and he realized that he hoped he never heard it. He wanted Sean to feel safe in his presence and know that Childers respected him and his heritage. When he found out that Sean's nephew was a fan, he went back to his Airbnb and cried. That is how dramatic all of this is, because somebody reached out to him in the heat of the racial outrage and this like whole apologetic victimhood culture in 2020 and said, oh, you should be using the word Indian. Because of this, he cried over a Native American hearing his song where he sings the word Indian. And this song is not about Indians. Like, I think I have the line up here, but the famous line is like, my buckle makes impressions on the inside of her thigh. And then he says like little feathered Indians. And it's like, again, I don't even know. I'm like struggling for words here because it's so harmless. And like, I think that's the point here. Like, you didn't have bad intentions when you were writing the song. You were writing about somebody that you loved. Like, the line is actually something that is, very sweet and positive, that you're saying is beautiful in a way. Like, that should count for something. You weren't trying to be offensive and say, oh, I'm going to use this outdated term. No, you were just writing something. And it is a great song. Like, sometimes, it is not your fault at all. And it's just so absurd. Now, the good thing that I will say is that he had this response, he had this interaction in 2020. He changed his mind about all of this. And since then, he has like dedicated himself to the Blackfeet Reservation and the tribe specifically. He has done a lot of work with them. He gives a ton of money to Native Americans and the Native American community around the United States. So this is not just somebody who like made a post online and was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to do this. Like, he felt this very deeply. Obviously, he's crying in his Airbnb and he's trying to put, his money where his mouth is, which I think is a good thing. If you're going to try to tread lightly and not offend people, you should like do it completely and be consistent. But again, it's like, it's so unnecessary. And I saw a post on Instagram about this week when somebody pulled out this quote from the GQ article and said, oh, this is, he's not singing the song. This is why. The comments were full of Native Americans, people who actually live on reservations, people being like, hey, I live on a reservation. Hey, I'm literally a Native American. I don't care. I love this song. Like, I love this singer. I'm not offended at all. Like, I don't care. Why are you not singing it? Like, you don't have to like tread lightly around us. We actually love this. We're not offended. Like, it's just so ridiculous. But again, at least he is being consistent. But it's this whole idea of, walking around just desperately trying not to offend people. Like, it's very sad that some people actually live their life like that. And I think that was something that was really prevalent in 2020, where everybody's brains kind of like short-circuited and everybody was posting the black squares. It was like all white people were being like, oh my gosh, white fragility, I have to listen and learn, all of that stuff. It's like, don't be a dick, really. Like, that's the main thing you need to know. Don't be a dick. Don't go out of your way to try to offend people, but you also can't live your life constantly thinking about what other people think and about whether they're going to take what you say in the wrong way or they're going to be offended because you used a word that some might say is outdated in a sweet sort of positive way. Like, really, that's not a healthy way to live a life. I do think it is healthy, again, that he then poured himself into this community and is wanting to help them and has obviously become very close with people in this specific tribe. That's great. That seems like he's turning that into a positive thing. It's become a very important part of his life and his wife's life and his family's life. But the fact that it came from him feeling so worried about offending people, again, it's just like, can we move on from this? It's really like not that big of a deal. Like, at all. And I, again, give him credit because a lot of celebrities don't put their money where their mouth is. They just want to get brownie points. They post the infographic on social media that is basically as far as they go. But again, this was just completely unnecessary. Play the song. People love the song. If you really want to cover all your bases, you can do the Disney, what they're putting on the old Disney movies. This was like an outdated thing I didn't know. But also, you don't have to do that. It's just a song. Like, people love it. It is an amazing song. Just play it. Also, this was super funny, but yesterday I had planned this show and I knew that I wanted to talk about this. And it was so perfect that I got sick and we had to bump it because in my in-laws family group chat, my brother-in-law sent a picture and said, oh my gosh, Tyler Childers is doing a pop-up show in East Nashville. I'm going. And I had no idea that it was actually one of his favorite artists. And so I was literally, it was like at the exact time that I would have been live talking about him on the show, being like, dude, shut up, just sing the song. You don't have to worry about offending people. My brother-in-law was there being like, this is my favorite artist. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that this was your favorite singer. But it was just so perfect. But I stand by what I believe because I'm not worried about offending people, because objectively we can acknowledge this is ridiculous. You had no ill intent at all. We can move on. Like, seriously, like, American Eagle did not have any kind of ill intent when they made the Sydney Sweeney ad. They were just trying to do something that was hot and fun. They were not trying to promote eugenics. You know, Scottie Scheffler is not a bad person because he is not prioritizing golf over his family and maybe singing the word Indians in a song that you wrote years ago before you had listened and learned is not the worst thing in the world. Everybody needs to go outside. Everybody needs to touch grass, think about their priorities. I think the world will be a much better place. We're at the hour mark. I literally had so many other things that I wanted to talk about, guys, but I ranted so long about other things. I think we're gonna have to bump those to Thursday, but I'll see if you guys have any other comments in here. Andrew Beasley said, in the sports world, we call him Skip Brainless. Oh no. That's good. I haven't heard that one before. That's great. I seriously, like, I wish I'd pulled up a photo to have my team put up of him with his crusty white dogs because it is so funny. And Alex always makes jokes about that. He was, whenever Rocky acts up and misbehaves, he was like, should we send Rocky to Skip Bayless? Like, she's like a Skip Bayless puppy. Spence Sports Network said, you can do both. You can be a great athlete and a father. Yes, it's really not that hard. Like, I mean, like, it obviously is hard. You have to balance your priorities, but it's not hard to live a life of nuance where you value different things and you have a career and you have a family without throwing one thing away. Airly said, I felt that my family saying that I should break up with my 3-year loving boyfriend so I can experience the single college life and date around because I'm young. Yeah, exactly. It's like, when you know, when you have your priorities in line, like, that's great. That's healthy. That's wonderful that you're focusing on that. And, you know, maybe the relationship will work out. Maybe you guys will get married. Maybe you won't, but you are still doing what you believe is right. You are pouring into somebody that you love. And I promise, being single in college and dating around and going to parties, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter. People glorify it and they'll say like, oh, you need to go out and have all of these experiences and do all of the things. Guys, that stuff is fleeting. I would like highly suggest, you know, even if you're not in a relationship, like, go pour into other things, pour into making, you know, great friends in a meaningful way outside of going to frat parties. Like, figure out, you know, what professors you can learn from outside of the classroom and get internships and network. Like, if you're going to go to a 4-year university or even if you're at a community college, like, use that time. That should not be time that you're throwing away on just dating around and partying because Hollywood has told you that you need to do it and people have been convinced that that's like an important part of the human experience. Like, I'm sorry, you will probably be happier being in this loving relationship and spending those years on that person because you're doing an objectively moral and good thing. Let's see. Can we, Caleb said this will be the last question. Can we get an update on how Harold the Mule is doing? Your baby Q looks super fun. I love that idea. I'm so happy for you and Alex. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't update you guys on this. We had our baby shower over the weekend. It was super fun. We did a baby Q. My friend Rose hosted it and threw it at her horse farm. It was just the best. So yeah, we were hanging out with a bunch of horses. They were not our horses, but Harold and his little girlfriend Nora are doing great. I think that they're adjusting to Tennessee better now. When they got here, they dropped a ton of weight because obviously the hay is very different here and they had different feed. My mom found an amazing like livestock nutritionist and like dietitian, which is so cool. And he came out and is helping get them on a better track. So they have been on this new hay and feed and regimen for the last month. They are doing so much better. I was out with them this morning. He still needs to gain a little bit more weight, but she's looking great. He's happy as ever, loves treats. So yes, all good things on the home front, as long as we can keep everybody cool and not get heat strokes. And I'm saying that about myself as well, because like the temperature rises 2 degrees and me and my bowling ball self are struggling to stay afloat. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for you today. I will come back with these extra stories that I missed next time on Thursday. So just in 2 days, we'll be back. Can't wait to see you then. Thank you so much for joining the show. All right, see you later.